stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're having a good day. Yeah. We will get to it. Just making sure I'm not going to share this too many places. I'm actually going to only share it to one group here. In fact, I may be minimizing a lot of things. So, notes. Start typing notes for a scene. Okay, then. Notes for this. Oh, so you can read. You can just read off of it. Got it. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'd Restream. Here are the suggestions for Restream to make my video better, which honestly I did not agree with. Pre-promotion, you mentioned you go live instantly without scheduling. This works for some creators, especially gamers. However, many podcasters, new hosts, and live coaches post their stream in advance to build anticipation. Yeah, but then they don't get to interact. See? Hey, I'll be live on Monday, 11. Yeah, see, that it doesn't work that way with me. I go live when I'm ready to. Your 30-second pre-roll is great for branding, but most viewers decide whether to stay the first 3 to 10 seconds. Start with a hook. Now that's probably a good idea. Then play your intro. If you need to prep time and avoid streaming cutoff, use our built-in. Yeah, actually, that's pretty good. Repurposing, things like that. So inviting community members. Yeah, that doesn't seem to work. So I'm going to give it a few more moments. Please remember that my granddaughters are here, so you may hear some talking back and forth. Did you decide to come in?
What?
You coming in?
Alice was getting cold.
Alice was getting cold? Yeah, you never get cold.
And I had to go to the bathroom.
Okay. Well, I love you. I'm going to close my door because I don't know that my grandkids really need to hear what I have to say. Hello. Love you. Good. You better. Get that set. All right. Well, we might as well go ahead and get started for the rewatchers. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'll be your host today. If you're here, please say hello. Oh, I gotta get rid of it first. So a lot of people already know that I tend to have big emotions, and today I'm just going to call it what it is. I'm depressed. And when I'm like this, I just get feelings are very confusing for me. I get these big emotions and I don't know the best way to put it. Probably I don't feel like living, but I don't want to die. I don't, but someone's got to be better than this. And I tried to get out of it today, but it's one of those I'm going to have to sit with it. right? And you'll probably find that I'll be choosing my words very carefully during this because, depression can easily lead to anger. And, I wish I didn't notice, but I do notice, a lot of things, and yes, a lot of this has to do with my family, or just being treated a certain way in particular. See, when I'm like this, it's happened so often that people just don't really want to hear it, so they tend to leave me alone. But I don't know. I kind of feel like Rudolph right now, and I'm just not allowed to play in any reindeer games because I'm different. I don't understand why we're going to get together for the holidays and not catch up, not enjoy each other's time. And when I'm in a situation and it's fake and I have to be fake too, I go crazy. It drives me nuts. And I don't know that I'm willing to do it again. Until there's some healing between me and my brothers and sisters, I just don't know that I'm willing anymore. It's quite often I'll put my foot forward knowing it's going to be stepped on. And I do it for my mom because I love my mom. I understand where she's coming from and I understand why she wants all the kids together. But my brothers and sisters don't understand that. They're just a bunch of selfish fucks, man. There was somebody else that was there. And I've actually known this person longer than anybody else that was there. I don't know if they remember or not. I've known this person since I was like 20, 21 years old. She's come into some, not AA meetings, but different meetings. And then my sister married her son. And it was funny, first time we saw him. I'm like, yeah, I've known her for years and years and years. But something was said, I don't remember what it was, and I was joking around, and she said, well, that explains some things. And in my mind, I wanted to say, that explains what? What exactly? What do you think you're trying to say? Because that was gaslighting, okay? And I don't play that fucking game. But it's the fake shit. I just can't do fake anymore. I have very few friends in my life. And I don't even know, and this is just me, I'm not even sure if they are friends. I know there's one person in particular that I would say is my friend. Right? And that's not, I'm not trying to put anybody down that's listening. So please don't take it that way. These are my feelings, and feelings are not always fact. In fact, they hardly ever fact. They're never fact. Then there's the whole side of allowing this to happen to me. And I'm allowing it. I just don't want it anymore. I don't. I'm tired of the lying, the bullshit, Like I told my older brother a little bit about what I was doing. He's like, yeah, right on. They never ask about my kids. They never ask about my grandkids. They don't even ask how I'm doing. Well, that's what, how you doing? But at the same time, I kind of shoved it in my brother's face yesterday that they kept pushing me towards the person that abused me as a child. Maybe they just didn't figure it out. So, I'm feeling this in AA too right now. I don't see it the same as a lot of other people. I don't. I was taught different at this program, and a lot of times I go to meetings now and it just feels like one big fucking mutual admiration society. people are saying things, and my gut is like, they're lying. Why? I was in a meeting yesterday, I think it was. Somebody brought up about how they helped start Zoom. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Even if you did, I don't care. I'm older now, and I deserve real shit, real things. And it's quite often real relationships. And, it is quite often that, especially the professionals I've been working with, they tell me all the time, Dion, what you're doing good stuff. You're doing good stuff. You're making a big difference, but I ain't seeing it. And I'm probably the one blocking myself from seeing it. Because when I'm depressed, it's hard to see the forest for the trees. It is, And thank God my grandkids were here, because they make me chuckle a little bit, But I get reactive when I'm like this, and they're like, Grandpa, can we go outside? I'm like, no. And I'm walking to my office. I'm like, Dion, they're old enough to go outside. So I went back and I said, sometimes I forget that you're a little bit older, and yes, you can go outside, but you know the rules. And they've always followed the rules. It was mainly because I knew it was cold. And, they lasted about 10 minutes. Right. So, and I don't know if I'm the only person that feels that way, that, I don't know. I think there's just very few people that I've met, for a little while that have actually accepted me for who I am. There's a lot of people that perceive me a certain way, and then when they find out that I'm not living up to that expectation, they disappear, or maybe their own guilt starts to. But it just doesn't feel at the moment. It doesn't feel like I belong anywhere. I don't know who I am. There's not much in this life that I can think of that would make me happy or content. Not much excites me. I'm trying to do this without whining and bitching, because that doesn't solve anything. But, I think it's time to make some regulations and rules that need to apply if you plan on being on Dion's life. I'm going to have to search for some stronger boundaries. I thought I did okay yesterday, but this morning, yesterday I didn't catch everything because I don't think I wanted to. But the thing is I do catch all these things. I have plenty of people, here. There's a lot of people that say, oh, I love what you do, and you're this, and you're that, and da-da-da-da-da. Let's go here. We're going to go to my Facebook. There's me. There's me looking at me. Nothing. Oh, we got one. Rewatcher. Hey, Chris, good to see you. Nothing. Oh, we got one. Right? Where I see, and I'm talking about with my family, where I see, even my favorite auntie likes my daughter's stuff, but she never gives me a thumbs up, So, there again, it's like, if you want to be a part of my life, then, the telephone kind of works both ways. And, it just sucks and this is where white privilege, being a white man privilege, does you no good. Because people don't want, they don't, People don't really give a fuck what men are going through. Maybe some other men. I'm not saying everybody. There are several people with servants' hearts that care, and a lot of it's quite often that I hear that I love your vulnerability. Well, I'm glad you love it, but it still fucking hurts. I'm glad that you're vulnerable. Well, I don't want to be fucking vulnerable. I'm a man. I'm not supposed to be vulnerable. I'm just talking shit now. Of course I'm a human being. Of course I'm vulnerable. Right? I'm also not one to kind of hide my feelings. That's why yesterday, I think it was just the fact that it is so fucking fake that it fucked me up. I was being somebody I was not. And I refuse to do that anymore. And if other people are okay with it and it continues to hurt me, then maybe they shouldn't be in my life either. At this point, if I could find a 2-bedroom place in the mountains where I wouldn't have to fucking talk to anybody ever again, except for my kids and my grandkids and my wife, a few of my close friends, I'd do it. In fact, I might. I was kind of hoping that the grassroots meeting would attract people that were like me, that wanted to be around me, but it didn't quite work either. I was following the direction in the big book. It says start a meeting and you'll find your fellowship. And there's another part of me that's I got several things going on, and my brain's just like, yeah, there's no way you're going to be able to do this. You can't do this. Look, people aren't even showing up to what you're doing now. What makes you think that people are going to show up to what you're going to do there? But I also didn't have the backing of several places at that time. But at the moment, I don't really feel like I belong anywhere. The hard part when it's like this is that it's hard to explain what's going on. And I didn't want to come on here and yell and scream and take it, because I'm not mad. I'm deeply hurt, like deep inside. My soul is aching. Something is very wrong. Or maybe it's what I'm going through, and because I'm an intense person, because I'm an intense person. And it's hard to get out of this funk, and there's not really much anybody can really say to get me out of it. Because I know that I'm helping people, and that I only need to really help one person a day. And another hard part is that there's very few people that understand what I actually do. I'll give you an example. And I thought what I did was, what I do is pretty freaking clear cut. All right. So I have these guys working on a website for me. They're called the Free Website Guys and so forth. All right. But then, there's other things that are going on. Chrome tab, window, entire screen. No, that's not going to work anyway. Anyway, he writes me back and he said, "Hey, Don, sure, we could definitely do that," because I had picked a theme, right? He's like, just keep in mind are that the basic themes are more limited in terms of their functionality and can be a bit harder down the road if you want to make changes to your website rather than hiring a developer. Okay. This. He's trying to sell me. It pissed me off. I wrote him back. What'd I say? Let's just go to sent items here. I said, I do not sell anything. My website is educational only, and I do not charge. I help others with addiction to alcohol and alcoholism. I'm just some guy in Colorado who helps others and needs help with his website to help more people. Please do not try and upsell me from here. Yes, business too is good, and I like it. Things simple. I do. I don't need some big website that does all of this stuff. I'm not the alpha omega. I'm not this. I'm not. It's okay. But the thing is, with what I do, there's so few of us, I can't find them. And at least once a week, I talk to some people. I'm like, hey, let's do some stuff. Oh, yeah, let's do it. And then I hear nothing but crickets because I'm very different from what it is that I do. The email that I read earlier about suggestions with going live and getting more people, I'm like, I don't think you understand. And I'm tired of being misunderstood. I'm tired of calling professionals and directors and stuff and saying, you guys need to start calling the AA hotline instead of hiring these peer people, because first of all, the pay that you're paying is bullshit and a slap in the face, and you're not going to get anybody with quality with that. So let's call the AA hotline. And it was considered a new concept. It is things like that just, it makes me wonder, God, am I doing what everybody else is doing too? What is going on here? And this sets me apart. It sets me apart. And I don't like it. I just want to be a regular dude laughing and having fun in the crowd too. I love helping people. I do. But let's remember, it goes both ways. It goes both ways. And I'm not saying people don't check up on me. I was in a noon meeting and there are a couple minutes left and they called on me. And if you know me very well, I had nothing to say. I didn't know what to say. Topic was step one. And my thought was, I'm just going to bitch and moan about what's going on. And I'm not going to dump in a meeting, especially the last one. I don't bring everybody down with me because misery loves company. And it's easy to hop on board with that. But then my sponsee, he's like, hey, I'm done with this list, which is great. That's awesome. It makes me a little happier. All right. And you seemed out of sorts. Are you doing okay? See, I appreciate that. It's not much he can do. But knowing that somebody who's only been around the program for a little bit gives a fuck, I mean, that does kind of help. Every now and again, I'll hear things, but I seem to have to be the one that provides my own encouragement all the time. Because when you met me, I was doing this. So there's a certain level of expectation. Let's say I didn't go live for 2 days. I probably hear about it. I might hear about it. Maybe. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if I disappeared from AA, if anybody noticed. But that's what depression does. Of course, people would notice. I don't think they'd do anything about it. Oh, not my problem. And the thing is I don't think that way when it comes to other people. I don't. See, I know what it's like to be minimized. I know what it's like to be put down. I know what it's like to have mental illnesses your whole fucking life. I know what it means to be different. Okay. So when it happens to you, it fucking hurts me. It just hurts me again. I know it's happening to you, but I will feel the pain. Right? I'll give you a fantastic example. I'm going to kind of keep my voice down on this one because so my granddaughter's birthday was a couple months ago. One of my granddaughters. Right? I have 3 granddaughters and 2 grandsons, and they're all beautiful. They're all great kids. Because I love them for who they are, and they're all different. They've all got different personalities, right? And I love them individually for who they are. But I wasn't invited because there were going to be other people there that didn't want me there, and they're not even in her life now. But the only person that showed up for her birthday was her great grandpa. It was Papa. I knew he was the only. I knew he'd show up because he's always loved the children. He got a little bit of a drinking problem. He's an alcoholic, but just because somebody's an alcoholic doesn't make him a bad person either. What made him bad was he drank Coors Light. He worked at Coors for 40 years. He got it for free. So that helps. It becomes an acquired taste, right? So nobody showed up. Or one person showed up. Right? And I know exactly how that I went, but you know what happened to me? I went straight back to 1979. When nobody showed up for my birthday party. It still fucking hurts. I don't do birthday parties because of that. People have always treated me shittily on my birthday, except my wife and my kids. Yeah, they have, but they're learning. I taught them how to be absent. I can't really point a finger at them. Right? And I think my kids anymore are just an easy outlet for my anger, and I've admitted that, so I don't do it anymore. I'm actually proud of myself. I went a full week without complaining to my wife about the kids at all because there wasn't anything to fucking complain about. That's what I realized. There just isn't anything. What was going on is they just weren't doing what I wanted them to do. That's really what that was. So, do I become a drug and alcohol counselor? Do I open these homes? Do I, there's a lot of things on my plate that they all kind of work together, like we were talking about opening the Hayworth houses this next year, but I found another program that's going to be a great fit for us. It's called Ready to Work, right? And what it is they are reintegrating. And I went and looked at their program, and it's a good program. I like it. It's a 2-year program, and it should be. Okay. And what they do is they help homeless people get back on their feet. And it's great. It's exactly what I want. Because, see, I can't be everything. Right? And I was talking to Rashani about this. She works over at Adams County she's like the director for the homeless division. It's not called that, and we both agree on one thing: housing first. Oh, she said she also made a pocket directory. She wants me to go through it and remove anything bad and then add what's good. So, but what we need is bridge housing. Okay, because they're going to have to start, ready to work. So, but some of these folks aren't ready to work. They want to be because they want to get sober. They want to be a productive member of society, but it takes some people a lot longer. Right. And then later on, we were talking about, because we're working on a new encampment here in Adams County. Yes, there's an encampment coming too, and a detox, so a lot of neat things. I'm also going to be asked to be on the Lived Experience Committee for Adams County because they're figuring it out. But anyway, she brought up another program. She's like, oh, they also have these hotels where, because the housing first, but some of these hotels, it's supposed to be drug and alcohol free, but no, you can't control everything. And she said, that's 30 or 60 days. And later she's like, let's just call it 30 days just in case I'm off. So we're going to go with 30 days. I can do a lot of work with somebody in 30 days. Yes, I can. Okay. Maybe they're not quite ready yet, so they can move into one of the other halfway houses for a little bit, and we can get them a job taking care of animals and things like that. She loved all these suggestions. She loved them, right? And this is where I come in. I'm gonna brag on myself a little bit, so I feel a little bit better about myself. Just saying. Okay. Well, I saw the opportunity there, but I don't understand why they didn't connect that. It's their own program, but they didn't connect it. And then I have to remember, Dion, not everybody knows what you know. And so that's my biggest thing. Not everybody, in fact, there's not very many people that I talk to that do know what I know. They're either very clinical or very AA, right? And I'm some of both. So not only that, but I want you to hear their success rate. 70%. That's fucking phenomenal. That's my kind of success rate. That's what I go at. When I worked at Detox, you had individual in the 90s, you would get individual success rates. The Detox had a success rate, but they also kept track of the counselors, right, that helped them get to that point. And that's what they were called, counselors. They weren't called recovery coaches. They weren't called peer. They weren't going, no. They were just called counselors. A counselor is just a basic term. All right. We can get back to that. And I had my own success rate, and it was averaged around 70 to 75, 80%. That means for every 10 people that I sent to treatment, they completed the program and stayed sober for something like a year. Yeah, and that's what I'm used to. Right? But if the right pieces aren't in place, then it won't work. Then you can just kiss your success rate goodbye. Right? They see I can she's like, now we have another problem and you might be able to solve this. I'm like, of course I'm gonna solve it. Okay. And she said the problem that we're having is we work with a company and they're great. They're therapists. Okay. But therapists don't do house calls. They don't. Okay. Well, we're not quite thinking forward. And I was a little disappointed that nobody thought of this, because what do we have here? And I didn't say this to anybody. Well, it's stigma. They're assuming that that homeless don't have phones. That's not true. Most of them do have phones. If you get SNAP or EBT, they're getting a phone too. Okay. It may not connect to the internet, okay, but it does have Wi-Fi capability. So yes, it can be used. Very minimal, right? So I said, well, what you do is, I said, what's wrong with teletherapy? Is there a reason we're not considering that? And the light bulb went off. And to me, that just confirms they need me. They need me. So, it's neat that this stuff is going on and it's happening. There's a part of me that's scared. It just scares the fuck out of me. Because what happens if I don't succeed? It's hard not to what if when you're, deciding what happens when other people's lives. And that's what I'm trying to get rid of. When you go housing first, I'm going to tell you the freedom. If you've never had to stand in line while 100 people in front of you got their food and you hadn't eaten for 2 fucking days, but now you get to eat because somebody finally showed up to feed you. It's lonely. I was 17 years old living on Skid Row, and it seemed like nobody gave a fuck about me. But I was too young to be living on the streets. I don't care what tough love. That's too young to be. I was still a child. I was still a kid. And that you know what I call that? I call that abuse. Right? if one of my kids was drinking way too much and their drinking was out of control and they called me and said, Dad, I need somewhere to sleep, the answer would be yes. But there's a rule in the house. Oh, there's always been a rule in the house for 12 years now. Actually, shorter than that. No alcohol allowed in the house. Okay? Even if it's in your body, you cannot bring it into the house. So if you're drunk, you can't come into the house. Okay? I'll give you a sleeping bag. You can sleep outside, sleep it off if you want. You bet. But I'm going to at least try and keep you safe because, you know, because I care about my kids. And, you know, I'm not saying that my mom didn't love me while I was drinking, because she did. Right? But she has different boundaries than me. That's what we're going to call it, different boundaries. Now, I do want to say, out of all this, because I've been complaining about my family a lot, is I've healed things with my mother. My mother and I are getting along great. And, you know, if I have to choose between, I'm going to pick my mother every time. Okay? She did a lot for me. Did she fuck up a lot? Yes. Did I fuck up a lot? Yeah. But I made a mistake and I didn't learn from her experience the first time. That was a mistake. Right? So, but yeah. I feel like I'm just going to be beating a dead horse from here. So, if people have been chatting, because one person's been here, but nobody, you know, but I know that sometimes people just listen. They haven't been popping up if you've been chatting. So, and you're not required to. And on this one, I can understand why people wouldn't chat. Because, and thank you. Thank you for understanding that I just maybe needed to kind of talk. So, and I know who's here. Because they're always here. And you're probably my, I was like best friend, but you're one of my only friends. All right. No, my daughter's supposed to be here at 3. Right. She's never, for a Virgo, she sucks at time. I thought it was someone else, Clara Joyce. Well, that sounds mean. You're a friend of mine also. We're becoming good friends. I'll put it that way, but we're getting there. It takes a while to become friends with me because a lot of people just abandoned me. My sponsor disappeared on me. I have no idea what's going on. You know, it's just kind of weird. So, and I love you too, Clara Joyce. So, people are wondering, it's Amber. Amber and I have been through some things together, and it's brought us close. It's brought us closer. No, we got into it for a little bit. We did, and we were able to come back. And it's quite often that we don't agree on things, but I don't fucking care. It does it so. It's not a requirement. In fact, if I can't bicker with my friends and get to the right answer, then we're not really friends, you know? So, and I think I need to give myself a, you know, this week I've been telling everybody else to give themselves a little leeway, and maybe it's my turn to do it. So, but I'm at 40 minutes and I hate to stop here. Amber's like a daughter to me. In fact, I don't think that I'd want Amber and my daughter to pick on me at the same time because they would kick my ass. And she's Virgo too. Let's do a daily reflections, because if you're going to come here and support me, I'm always willing to put in a little bit of extra effort today. So, yeah, me either. I couldn't even talk in the noon meeting. I couldn't do it. So December 26th, I'm going to read out of A Day at a Time. It's Hazelton literature. Thank you, Clara Joyce. I appreciate that. I do. None of us can claim to know God in all his fullness. None of us can really claim that to understand our higher power to any extent. But this I do know. There's a power beyond my human will which can do wonderful, loving things for me that I can't do for myself. All right. I'm going to apply this to what's going on. Because I kind of feel like that at some point there needs to be some kind of confrontation. When is my day due when I get to say, hey, you know what? None of that bullshit happened. But people just aren't willing to sit down and have hard conversations anymore. There's like so much fear. So much fear. My daughter's here, so I'm going to have to wrap this up. But this I do know. I see this glorious power at work in my own being, and I see the miraculous results of the same power in the lives of thousands upon thousands of other recovering people who are my friends in the program. Do I need the grace of God and a loving understanding any less now than when I began my recovery? Not today. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, CJ. Yeah, she kind of disappeared. Sometimes when people are relapsing consistently, what they'll do is they'll blow off the people that help them the most. It's a human thing. So, yeah, I understand you. No, verbal abuse is not okay. It is not. I agree. May I never forget that my spiritual needs are as great today as they were when I came into the program. It is so easy to look at others newer to the recovery process and regard them as needy ones. No, I'm the needy one today. Clara Joyce and I are the needy ones today. How about you, Michelle? You in on that plan? So, as I think of myself as increasingly independent, may I never overlook my dependence on my higher power. Today I'll remember I will never outgrow my need for God. So, all right, I'm going to go help my daughter out here, but thank you for hanging out and listening and being a part of it. It's always good to see all of you. I love you. Peace out and have a day.